a business in such a way that small businesses can work with us. But we're not a Christian company per se, but all of us are Christians. So we also work with churches and nonprofits. We really enjoy working with our church partners because we know the mission is greater than trying to sell a few more pizzas. It's getting people plugged into church, getting them the word, getting the gospel out to people. So that's what really excites us. That's at our core. But of course, we also work with businesses. We like to, I don't want to say pride ourselves, but we understand digital marketing. It's something that we live and breathe. That's why we enjoy doing workshops and webinars, because we know for you as pastors, or maybe you're the communication director, or you're like my youth pastor who also built the website and is tasked with running social media, this is a difficult thing to tackle, the digital landscape. So we hope that this webinar is informative. You can walk away with some action items of what you need to do next. But before I go anywhere, this is I always like to say this is a 30,000-foot view. It's not specifically about your church or your ministry, which may change what recommendations we would have. Not drastically, but again, this is a 30,000-foot view. What we're going to do, us personally, we're whoever wants to. So if it's 100, 2,000, we'll make the time right. But we want to sit down with you personally, and we'll go through what we call a digital audit. So it takes these same ideas, this 30,000-foot view, but it takes it down to a 1,000-foot level of where is your church online? Are people able to find you? What does your search look like? Are you showing up at the top in certain areas? Where are your competitors? Where do they have the advantage? So those type of things, it's the 1,000-foot view. Make sure that even if you have to leave this halfway, shoot Carl and I an email, and we will schedule that for you. It's a free consulting hour essentially, and we enjoy doing those. You heard me mention someone's name, Mr. Carl DiMaria. I'm going to send him a request right now to share his webcam so he can pop up real quick. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. I enjoy working with him. He doesn't like when I brag about him, but too bad. I'm running the show right now, so I can. Carl, why don't you briefly, you don't enjoy talking much, but briefly let us know a little bit about yourself before we get going on this journey.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. Hi, and welcome. I'm Carl DiMaria, as Jason said, and as my little blurb there. I've been about 30 years in traditional Christian radio, and I've managed stations around the country in New York, in Boston, Detroit, New Orleans, San Antonio, Texas. Worked and helped with many national ministries, from Focus on the Family and In Touch, Joyce Myers. I mean, probably you name the national ministry, and I probably have worked with them and helped them in their ministry. Also, countless local churches all over the country, churches as small as just a few members to, membership in the thousands. So, but, today, digital is the new world that ministries need to be pursuing. That's why I'm really enjoying these webinars with Jason, and we hope that you can take some valuable ideas away and implement them in your own ministry. That's kind of like our ministry to you. And so we hope you get some valuable ideas here, and we just wanted to welcome you. And Jason and I really appreciate you and thank you for joining us today.
Jason? Carl, I think I left out one fact at the bottom. You not only are married, but you have some kids and grandkids that you enjoy, so that takes up some of your time too.
Correct.
But,
and I'm really just a kid.
Yeah, just really a kid. Time keeps on ticking, but at least we know we serve the one who's over time. So he has that part taken care of for us. There's his email right there, carl@thelightdigital.com, if you want to reach out to him. Actually, we have his phone number too at the end too, email, phone number. And then I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, but quick facts about me. I love marketing, advertising, the whole creative idea of it, and the business side, joining the two together to to make action happen, because for me, marketing and advertising is where ideas and action meet and amazing things happen. So I've gotten to work with some neat businesses and ministries a lot here in the San Francisco Bay Area. I also am a youth leader at Community Bible Church in Vallejo, and I'm married to my lovely wife Tiffany, and we have 2 boys under 2, Maverick and Grayson. So pray for me, please. And any advice, email me. I'll trade you. I'll give you some marketing advice. Give me some parenting advice. I'd really appreciate it. You can tweet at me at Jason Hanson. Find me on LinkedIn or email me. But let's get into this. Enough about us, right, Carl? Enough about us. Let's get into this. So what do we expect today? Well, we're going to briefly look at, we're going to zoom through a lot of this, so I apologize at how fast we'll be moving, but we're going to briefly look at how marketing is changing, because it is, and then with that, what does it take to shine online, as we like to call it, and then in the mix of this, what it means for your church and how we can help in any way. And if at all this ever sounds like a timeshare type approach, you can reach through the screen and slap me. It's never like that. But of course, this is what we help ministries, nonprofits, and businesses do, so we'd like to help you as well. I will build my church. These are the words of our Lord and Savior, Jesus. So we like to start here because there's no marketing tactic, no tool that will circumvent Jesus building his church, because he is the head of the church. We fully believe that. But on that note, we are created in his image, and he has, through us, created tools to reach more people. So the idea here is we know it's Jesus who builds this church. I may add in words like marketing. I may even call the people we're trying to reach customers or clients. I apologize ahead of time. I don't treat church just like a business, because the Lord is behind it, and I think the Lord is behind businesses as well that are serving him. But having said all that, we know Jesus brings the people in, but we believe he's given us tools like Facebook, like the internet, like websites, showing up higher in search to reach more people. So that is where I just wanted to throw that out there in the beginning. We want to be good stewards of these tools. That's the purpose. You cannot talk about how marketing is changing with a marketer without looking at a marketing funnel. Marketing funnel is, if you haven't heard about it, I'm sorry. They're everywhere on the internet. But what all it means is, where are your potential members, people who are going to visit your church and hear your teachings, worship with you? Before they got there, they were somewhere in this funnel. Maybe they were, and there was a time where they weren't even in the funnel. What do I mean by that? Before they were even aware that you existed. So that's even before the funnel. But then they became aware. Then they become interested. Then they have a desire, and then there's an action. They actually visit the Bible study, the church. So those steps haven't changed, but back in the day, there were only a few mediums we had to worry about to pique someone's interest, to get them interested, to stir that desire, and to get them to make that action, to come into our church to buy something. So not that we don't have print ads anymore, but that's all we used to have. Print ads, billboards, few radio stations, the few network TV channels. Now we have what, over, I know, thousands of TV options before us. Direct mail, how many pieces of mail do you get now? I mean, I know my garbage can count a lot of them. We used to have a thing called the phone book. So if someone's looking for your church in the phone book back in the day, they definitely have a desire. They're looking for an address, a phone number. That leads to action, them actually visiting your church. So I'm not saying that these things don't exist. You still need to help people find you. You need to build that awareness. You need to build interest. You need to build desire for them to visit, and you need to cause action. But we live in a very distracted society. Here we just passed our season. The 49ers were passed by many teams. This came out shortly before the season started, and this was our former head coach. It seems like distractions aren't just hitting us in church when you hear the phone go off, or even right now, you're listening to this, you're probably checking your emails, you're looking at your smartphone, you're worried about something else. Even our professional sports teams are distracted. The funnel looks a little different, to say the least. So you still need, again, awareness, consideration, transaction, loyalty, advocacy. So some new words, but it really means the same thing. But this is just a snapshot of all the choices you have as a church to try to cause awareness. There's offline mediums still, so billboards. I've seen churches with billboards, direct mail, newspaper, radio. How much time, money do we spend in those things? But what about Yelp? What about local search? What about mobile ads, Facebook? Okay, when they're considering you, you still have, you have more than just the yellow pages or your newspaper ad to build that consideration. There's so many choices now. So marketing is changing. People are distracted. Now you need to look at this funnel as your church and say, are we at least in a few of these areas? You don't need to be doing all of these things, and we'll get into most of them in a moment, but what areas can you pinpoint on this funnel and say, oh yes, we're reaching people there, we're doing this, we have an email options, we have location-based services, I'm getting Facebook ads to the right people. So do you have at least a few of these things in the funnel? That's a question you need to ask yourself. But the internet has changed everything. It has radically changed everything. It's not a fad. It is the way we reach people. That's the point. The point isn't likes. It isn't just to get high on the search page, just to be at the top. It's because we want to reach people. And we have new tactics to do that. So how I like to think of this is in military terms. In military, there's two main tactics of reaching people. You have your airstrikes and your special forces. Airstrikes, there's some spillover. When you have a mission to accomplish and you're launching an airstrike, there are certain areas you'll hit that you probably weren't intending to hit. That harkens back to billboards, TV commercials, newspaper ads. In those pieces of marketing, even direct mail pieces can be, in a way, some spillover, because you may be reaching people who are already in church. You're going to reach people that you weren't necessarily intending to reach. But now, with the internet and with these things within social media, we can be very tactical in our marketing. And just like in war, you can't pick one or the other. It depends on your mission, when and how you use both. You can be very tactical, very specific. I just want to reach married people from 32 to 45 because we know those are the very intense years of marriage with our marriage conference or with our series on marriage. I just want to reach parents from 37 to 42 who have kids in an older age range because we have a really neat youth program. You can be very tactical in social media, with the internet. So the question used to be when they showed up at church, oh, how'd you hear about us? Did you see our ad in the newspaper? Or did you get that flyer? Maybe you just talked to your neighbor, they invited you. That's not a bad question to ask, but we need to take a step back. And we need to ask, where do your future and current visitors find what they need? Not just when they're looking for church, but what does your church offer? Well, it offers truth. It offers marriage advice. It offers help to get out of addictions. It offers babysitting opportunities. It offers youth programs. It offers many, many things. So where are those people looking when they need those type of offerings? And is your church showing up there? So here's a little story, a personal story for you. Can't believe it's almost been a year, but this is to capture the idea of the tactical nature of marketing. So it was before Valentine's Day. I was looking for a date. Before Valentine's Day of last year, I was looking for a date, And I wanted to, being in marketing, I wanted to market it. I wanted to advertise it, of trying to find my date. I live in a very small town outside of San Francisco. It's called Crockett. There's about 3,000 of us. But Crockett is known for its billboards. It has a few billboards when you enter Crockett. So I had an option. Okay, I can make a flyer, make a little billboard, and put it up and reach the people of Crockett. No, I don't want to reach everyone. So I needed to be more tactical. And surely I couldn't afford a real billboard on the side of a freeway. So I needed to be more tactical and practical with my approach of finding a date for Valentine's Day. So I opened up Facebook and I went to my business page, and I decided to send an ad out for a date. I didn't want to drive too far from Crockett. There's actually a nice restaurant called the Dead Fish I wanted to go to. So I said, I'm going to only reach people in Crockett. At this point, Facebook has a little meter saying, warning, warning, warning. You're not going to be able to reach anyone. Well, I said, I'm just getting started, Facebook. I didn't actually tell Facebook that, but I was even more selective in who I was trying to reach. So I selected Crockett. I selected females. I selected females from 27 to 28. At this point, it's in the red. Facebook is saying we won't be able to find anyone. I selected Crockett, females, 27 to 28, those who have been to Boston University and who have worked in the legal field. And I launched it. Crossed my fingers, hoping there would be someone that fit those exact criteria. I didn't want any spillover in my marketing. I had someone in mind. 2 to 3 hours later, I got a call from my wife, and the first thing she asked was, how many other women saw that ad? She thought maybe I messed up and I meant to send out a personal ad or a message to her, but it ended up to everyone because I had an offer. You clicked on it, and it got you a date with me. She was the only one who saw it. Now, after she liked it, all her friends saw it. You can see down there 131 people saw it after that, after she claimed the offer. But she was the only one who saw that ad. That is how tactical you can be in this medium. So marketing is changing, whether we like it or not. So the question is, how do you as a church shine online? You don't want to get behind in the times. People's way of consuming information is changing. So how do we shine online? These first 2 sections I'm literally going to zoom through because I want to spend the majority of the time on the social media section. So please, if you have any questions about search or mobile websites, definitely reach out to us. We can be more specific in those areas. So the first step is you need a mobile-first or mobile-friendly website. This is a quote from Stephen Fogg. He's a communications and online pastor at Crossway Church. He says, a first-time visitor will define your church by their mobile search experience. 50% of searches this month were on a mobile phone. And actually, this was a stat pulled a few months ago. It's over 50% now. That number is climbing. People, even if they drive past your church, which is a great way to advertise, or they hear about it from a friend, so you've already gotten that awareness, they're going to their phones to find out more about you. If they have to take their fingers and pinch and zoom in, and your website doesn't fit, it's going to cause them to be very, very frustrated. Not only that, it also negatively affects your search, which we'll get into in a moment. But you don't want to frustrate your people. You do not want to frustrate your people. So if you need a mobile website or you have questions about building your home base, your website, reach out to us. There's also tests. You can type in Google Mobile Friendly Test. If you want that, when you email us, just say, hey, what's that test website? We'll send you a link. That is from Google where you can put your website in and see if it passes their test. That's important because it affects how people find you online. It affects your search, which is the next portion of how to shine online. So we're building our light bulb here. Not sure if you can tell what that was. If it was a pencil, it's a light bulb because we want to shine online. So the next step is how do you get found on search? You have a website, it's mobile friendly. The back end of your website, you're giving Google all the right information it needs to find your site, to search your site, to make sure that that Google knows that you're a church and what you have to offer. But every hour, 512 websites are born. So just having a home base, a mobile site, doesn't cut it anymore. You need to be found on search. And we know this. You're probably Googling something right now. You're probably Googling Carl or I just to see who we are and if you can trust us. Hopefully you find some good stuff. Sorry for all the kid pictures that will pop up. I guess what happens when you're a newer parent. But 97% of consumers search for local services online. And that's anywhere from how to get your oil changed to where should I eat lunch to how do I help my drug addiction? How do I deal with an abusive spouse? How do I raise kids? Not saying I haven't Googled that before. Again, if you have any advice for raising kids, please email me. We'll trade. We'll trade some information. But people are searching for things, and they're not just searching for church near me, which is definitely a search you need to check out, but they are searching for life's questions into Google. And I know this even as a parent. You know, you catch some signs of a sickness and you Google it. You want Google to tell you, hey, should I take my kid to the ER or not? When people are struggling with depression, the majority of them, the first place they're going is search. Are you showing up in those searches? So, of course, the most important, the basic ones, church near me, that's someone looking for a church. You have to, not that it's not a want. If you do not show up on the first page of search in some form or fashion in your industry, in the church industry, if you do not show up on the first page of search, you do not exist. Why do I say that? Do I just say that just for the sake of analogy? No. 90% of searches stop on page 1. So sure, you can reach those 10%, but those numbers decline. So by page 3, you're reaching no one. You need to reach those 90%. Are you showing up on the first page of search? Not only that, 75% stop after 5 listings. So if you count here, you see the first listing, Hillside Church of Marin. Underneath that, there are Google Plus pages, which we'll get into in the social portion. Very important. Mental note that. So basically, this is the first scroll of search. 75% will stop here. Now you see those little ads on the side. Should your church run ads? We're not going to cover that here. There is a time and a place. As you can see, the Mormon church, they spend a lot inside of the Google ad realm, so I would definitely mark them as a competitor, and there may be validity for your church to do that. But only 25% of people click on those ads. The majority of people want the real search results, the organic stuff, the stuff in the middle. So you need to ask yourself, are you showing up there? And there are a mobile website, and this is where these two kind of go hand in hand. You don't really separate those. If you do not have a mobile website, as of June of last year, so we're approaching the year anniversary of what was called Mobile-geddon or Mobile Armageddon, something like that. So Google coined it or someone coined it. But essentially, Google, being a search engine, will slap your hand and say, you're doing a bad job if you do not have a mobile website. Now, why is that? Well, I am, and so are you. You are a client of Google's. They want to give you the best search results and experience. So, since the majority of us do the majority of our searches on our mobile phone, and we click on those searches, Google wants to give us a mobile website because they know anything other than a mobile website will frustrate us. If we have to pinch our fingers and we can't find the location, we can't find the number or the address, we're going to get very, very frustrated. So Google wants to make their clients happy because the more people they have using the search engine, the more they can charge for their ads, and the more they can invest into their self-driving cars. So they have to make us happy. So by making us happy, they need mobile websites, and if you do not have one, you will show up lower in search results. That's just the bottom line. So you have to have a mobile website, and your website has to pass all the SEO requirements. All that means is search engine optimization. Are you optimizing? Are you giving the search spiders enough information and in the correct fashion for them to say, hey, I think this church should show up higher. Think of the two different terms, SEO and SEM. One of my colleagues, Adams Tegler, he coined it this way: search engine optimization is search engine organic. You don't have to pay anything. It's just what shows up based on your credibility to the search engines. That's a good place to be. These ads on the side or ads within any search engine are search engine marketing, search SEM, search engine money. It costs you money to show up there. Now we want to show up organically. Mobile website will help you, making sure your website is SEO friendly. So you don't need to worry about this, Pastor. I know you don't have time. Even if you're a communications director, you're busy even preparing for a sermon, editing videos. Go to the person who designed your website, and if it's you and you can't answer this question, find someone who can. We can help you. And ask them, can you do an SEO audit of our website? Because that will be important, helping you show up in search. Now remember, as I alluded to earlier, it's not just church near me where you want to show up. There are people typing in, help with drug addiction. How do I get out of debt? Is there any hope with cancer? Just found out I have cancer. People are typing these things into Google. We know you as a church, all the great institutions, from the educational institutions we have, the medical institutions we have, these institutions were started by Christians for the most part because they believe in the betterment of the whole person. The Lord himself cares for the orphans and the widows. He feeds the sick. He helps the hurting. He is the good shepherd, both of the soul and the body, and that's what churches are, extensions of. So are you showing up in these other places, not just Bible, not just church, but when someone is sick, when someone is hungry, when someone's suffering from addiction, when someone needs legal assistance, when someone's trying to figure out their finances? Are you showing up in these searches? Those are questions you have to ask yourself. It's beyond the church near me question. Now, I know we zoomed through those things. There's some very, like I said, 1,000-foot level places that you need to look into. So if you have any questions or you jotted down big notes on this section, be sure to reach out to us. And again, that digital audit is completely free. We don't try to pull your arm or anything. It is, people have said that is, well, mentioning these webinars and those digital audits, it's been some of the best 30 minutes of their life. Now, I won't go that far. They're probably just trying to tickle our ears, but it really is helpful. So make sure that you schedule that with Carl or myself. All right, we have the light bulb. You have a light bulb, but what good is a light bulb if it's not turned on? If we're just in a dark room, and even if you had 80 light bulbs in there, but they're turned off, you have the best light bulb that you can buy. Your website is mobile friendly, it's responsive. Doesn't matter if you're on a phone, an iPad, a desktop, a huge TV, your website shows up beautifully. People can find your location, your number. It's SEO friendly, but that's all that you have. It's just floating out there. You're hoping someone finds it. You need to go out there and turn on the lights and reach people. And that is the picture of social media and content, putting out quality content. You need to go where the people are spending their time. Pastor Ed Stetzer, he's the executive director of Lifeway Research, says social media is the 21st century town square. So where Paul used to go out and talk to the people, debate with the people who would meet in the town square and ask higher questions, deeper questions about life and spirituality, where even, a few years ago, we would have town hall meetings where questions in the community would be brought up, people would meet, even debate teams. This is happening on social media. That is where people are spending their time. I'm excited to see this next year's numbers, but this is the difference between Q1 of 2013 and Q1 of 2014. How time has shifted. and without spending too much time here, no pun intended, you'll see that people, their attention is shifting from live TV. It's shifting even from DVDs and Blu-rays to things like the internet. But even from that, look to the very left and you'll see smartphone, browser, plus apps. People are spending the majority of their times on their phones. And I don't need to prove this. We don't even need this graph here. All you need to do is, next time you're at a restaurant, look up and notice how many people are looking down at their phones. When you've gathered your family to watch one of your favorite films as a kid, look around and notice all the second screens, third screens that are there. And I would even go as far to say that the first screen is actually the phone. The second screen now is the TV, the iPad, the book that's hanging out there. I know it's weird. I have a smartphone. I have to tell myself to put it away when I'm with my sons. It's one of those things. I want to be fully there when I'm there. It's the society we live in. But we as a church, as a ministries, need to go where the people are. This is a great opportunity to reach people in their hands, where they're spending their time. And there's 5 apps or so in searches. The search, and 4 other apps that kind of flop back and forth of where people are spending their time. And the lion's share is Facebook. I knew everything changed when I got a friend request from my grandma about Facebook. Every single day, search engines index social media channels. So it's not just important to reaching people. Those little search robots, they go out to your website about once a month. They go to your social media feeds every single day. That reason alone is why you need to have social media channels for your church, because you'll get to tell search engines every day what you're known for, what you're experts in, how you help people. But it's where the people are. So how do you do this? With our time remaining, we're going to zoom through a few of these social channels, but before we go through them, this is kind of overarching. How do you shine online in social? Well, connect wildly and widely. I don't mean wildly where you're sharing content that doesn't ladder up to your church. Can you share a cat video? Sure, you can. But it doesn't need to be the same type of content every time. Diversify it, but also make sure it's open to both a large audience of people. So what do not just my church members want? We look at too many churches' Facebook pages, and it's essentially a bulletin board, one-way conversation. You need to cast the net wide. Talk about different things. Talk about financial matters, how to balance a budget, 7 ways to have a more successful 2016, how to keep your resolutions even though you failed them by February. That was a little jab to myself. Another thing, post consistently. You need to, it's not a one-time thing, or you give it your best shot for a month or a week at a time, then you stop because you don't have time for it or something else pulls you away from it. You have to be consistent, and you have to monitor your pages, because once they're open, people will start talking to you. Discover and share content. Be a resource. So you don't just need to share your own content the whole time. You can become a resource hub. Blogging is important. Writing your own content is important. And one big thing, you want to have consistent branding across all your channels. So, on the content, create content that is worth sharing. And remember, you can't just press play on your posts and expect all of them to work, from Facebook to Twitter to Pinterest to Instagram. Certain channels warrant a certain tailored message. And when you start, remember, you need to get ready to listen and respond. People will reach out to you. They will. So are you listening? Are you responding? Build engagement with your content. Are you engaging them? And remember, it's a telephone number. Your page is a telephone number. So you need to treat it accordingly. I'll keep going here. So this is a church we work with, Church of the Highlands in San Bruno. They've been around for 50 years, but they just They just got started in this social arena. So there's still hope. Even if you've been around for many years, or you just started and you haven't done anything yet, don't worry, there's still hope. But we wanted for them, our goal for them was to have Facebook become that two-way conversation, both with inviting them to events, encouraging them, sharing sermons, sharing thoughts. We wanted to open up that conversation, and it sure did. One day we got a message from a gentleman, a private message, and he asked us if I wanted to visit church, and I'm not too spiritual, but I don't really want to talk to people, what time should I come? And we messaged back saying, oh, you should come to the earlier service, but feel free to reach out to anyone if you have needs. Well, the week following, we got another message from him, and remember, we market all their events, so we know all their events. But we got a message from him saying, oh, by the way, at the dinner and a movie this Friday, will there only be Italian sausage? Now, my team was confused because we didn't know about this dinner and a movie event, so we called the communications director there. We spoke with her, and she said, oh yeah, we made that announcement on Sunday. It's a last-minute event. So boom, at that moment we knew what started with a like and a Facebook message became an actual member, and he's actually been attending. He even for a time changed his profile image to the church logo. So there's a man who's not ashamed of religion anymore. This picture on the right of their car show. They do a car show every year. So again, being tactical, we sent a very affordable ad out. We managed the campaign to reach people who would be interested in car shows. The video received almost 6,000 views, but not only that, it was one of the best attended events yet. So remember, this isn't just a bulletin board. You have to be strategic about your content. Now Instagram is, there's a lot of opportunity here. Instagram is owned by Facebook, so all the data you have in Facebook, you have in Instagram, and you have their full attention. If you look at this screen right here, there's no other ads that you see. The person's eyes are on that content. So you can build an audience, yes, for your members, reach new people, but you also can send ads out on Instagram, reaching people who weren't expecting it, reaching the second-degree connections, meaning your members' friends and family. You can reach them. Now Twitter, I would say if you don't have a Twitter account, it would be more important for your pastor to start a Twitter account. But Twitter is a great listening tool, engaging with people directly. But one thing I just want to point out before moving on is, look at this on the right. This is a tweet sent out by Google. It says, hey Twitter, search party at our place, meet us on desktop. Meaning your tweets are going to be indexed and they're going to show up in search results, which is very powerful. So if you want to be known for helping people with depression or anxiety and you have articles and you're tweeting about it, that will show up in search. Now Google+, the failed social network I mentioned earlier. This animal, this Google+ animal, is your church's existence online besides your website. It is the way Google, the way Google identifies you as a verified, certified church. If you see that little check mark, I think I can write with this thing, highlighter, right here. Hopefully I can get that off the screen. We'll find out. But that little check mark right here, it means that it's verified. It's a verified church. And that is them telling Google that we're real, we exist. So not only that, you want to brand this page. We were just talking with, and again, this doesn't just affect churches, this affects businesses, a credit union who they spent all this money on a mobile website. It's been a few months, so it's been indexed. Google's been reading it, but the top search result is their Google Plus page, and it's not branded. Hundreds of thousands of people have seen that page, but there's no brand on it. It doesn't give them more information of how they can connect with that credit union. We've seen the same with churches. Before working with Church of the Highlands, it wasn't claimed, it wasn't branded. So you want to make sure you claim and brand your page. claim, and brand. Now, another thing, if you look, you'll notice that, oh, excuse me, on the bottom portion where it says posts, the goal here isn't to get followers or people to comment on the posts. Those posts feed the search engines just like a blog. So you get to tell Google every day what you're known for, how you help people. Claiming your Google Plus page and posting on it, you may not directly reach humans, but you will reach them in search results. You will start showing up higher in search. I cannot stress this enough. What do you need to do after this? Well, schedule that digital audit and we'll see what steps you need to take. And even before that, go on Google and type in your church name and type in Google with a plus sign and see what your Google Plus page looks like. And what we do is we'll find out, again, we know getting someone to church is the ultimate goal, but we need to see how you are with your competitors. We want to make sure that you have the share of voice, meaning if someone's looking for Bible study in your area, how much of those searches do you own? Do you have that share of voice? And this is what Google Plus, and of course posting on their social media channels, but Google Plus in particular will help you with. Now LinkedIn, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, but it would be great to see some pastors you want to have a claimed LinkedIn church page because that verifies you and adds more credibility, but it would be great to see pastors blogging on LinkedIn. Just don't be too preachy. It's more of a business area. YouTube is owned by Google, so again, this is a place where you get to tell with video, which is very important, you get to tell search engines why you're important. And not only it's not just for search engines, video is the content that consumers want. So before you even start a YouTube page, you need to make sure, do we have video content? And if you do not have plans to have video content this year, you need to change those plans. And I don't just mean videotaping or recording your sermons. You need to have plans. Maybe it's pulling out an iPhone and doing a pastor's meet the pastor once a week where he shares his thoughts or different areas he's going through in his time with the Lord, or he just gives highlights of what the sermon's going to be with his iPhone, and then you put that on YouTube and put that in Facebook. You need to have a video strategy in this day and age, and YouTube is a great home base for your video because of search. Whew. So I know we covered a lot. I want to leave a few minutes if we have any questions, but if you have any specific questions, we are here anytime to assist you. So from websites to mobile websites, variety of services to help you show up in search. We can help you with social media strategy, because one thing that you don't want to do is get fired up, start posting and have no rhyme or reason of why you're posting what you're posting. You need to have a reason for it. You need to know, why are you posting certain things? What are you trying to accomplish? So remember, how do you shine online? You need to have a mobile website. You need to consider search. Where are you showing up? Not just for church near me, but for those other areas that you help people with, those problems you solve. So how do you shine online? Well, you don't need to do everything, but you need to do some of these things, and you need to do them very well, because people are there. People are spending their time in Facebook. People are searching for life's questions in Google. Will you show up? That's what we're excited about, is reaching people where they are, and I know that's what you're excited about as a pastor as well. So let me see if we check if we had any questions throughout. I know I was going a mile a minute. I think we have a few questions here. Let me see this one. Of all the social media channels, which is the most important? So I would need to look at which channels that you currently have and what you're trying to do, but I need to pick two. Sorry, I can't just pick one. I need to pick two. Facebook and Google+. Most definitely for most of the churches. Google+ for the search engines, Facebook for the amount of people that are there, the amount of data that we have to reach people. So to start anywhere, I always say those two. And it has been delightful. Hopefully, Carl, if you're still there, I know that Carl and I, there's a reason that, I know I was talking with Carl a little bit about his history. He worked in the secular part of media for a while, but he feels called to work with ministries and churches. So we get a kick out of this. We love doing this. Feel free to reach out to us anytime. If you can tweet at us, that'd be pretty neat. But more, really, I really would want to counsel you to schedule those digital audits, because you'll be able to walk away with, okay, here's what we need to do next, even with or without us. We're not, of course we want to help you and work with you. We'd love to do that. That's why we do what we do, but it will give you a roadmap of what you need to do next. Because remember, we are stewards of our time, talents, and treasures. The harvest is plentiful. People are spending their time out there. So let us walk through at 1,000-foot level to see how can you be a better steward of your online resources. So schedule your digital audit, stay informed, reach out to us. You can, here's my phone number, email me if you want to email. So it's jason@thelightdigital.com, pretty simple, jason@thelightdigital.com. And Carl is carl@thelightdigital.com. So that's carl@thelightdigital.com. And we're always here. I want to make sure that your questions are answered. That was fun. I don't know if you're, I know, Carl, I still see you there, but we want to wish you all I was almost say a Merry Christmas, but that's not right. But just a great week. And if you have specific questions that you think fall outside of the digital audit, it's not like if we go 50 minutes or an hour, you get charged. It's really a time to bring all your questions and concerns forward. We're also going to send you an email after this where you can get a recording of this if you need to share it with people. I'm not sure it was that exciting where you want to re-listen to it, but if you do, you'll be able to. So without further ado, I want to thank you all, and I will talk with you all very soon. Bye now.